So I have a set of questions for you. If you find them boring, please stop me.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask you anything you don't want to answer.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, first of all, just huge congratulations on the new album.
Thank you.
Listen to it, it's brilliant.
Right on.
And I love the music video.
Which one?
Amazing. Oh my god, it's going up in my head.
The new Bird in the Hand.
No.
Nobody Wants to Die.
That's the one!
Okay, sorry, it's okay.
Something about not wanting to die. Help me. It's my favourite song that I've listened to.
We've made 2 more videos, just so you know. So we made a video for the for Rapture, and then the next song that came out was Bird in the Hand. So we made videos for all 3. And the second one, they all are connected.
Yeah.
And the second one, my son is the lead role. It's really just him. I have a 15-year-old son, and it was him like for the whole thing.
Dream come true for him.
He's taller. He's taller than me. He's really handsome. He's really awesome. He's a natural.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's such a good video. It gave like Tarantino vibes.
Totally.
Like Pulp Fiction.
You know, we produced that video and wrote the video, me and Jay.
Yeah.
And when you are making a music video, it's not like making a film in the way that we're able to like really emulate and just totally have fun, like shamelessly kind
it
of like.
looked fun.
Yeah.
Just by watching it.
It's not like, man, should we not take this idea because it's real Tarantino-ish? It's like, no, that's exactly what we're doing. Let's like do something in that world.
Yeah. So rock and roll. That's
fun.
exactly it.
Thanks.
So what inspired the title of this album, Dark Fighter? How does it differ for you from your previous work?
I think it's indicative of the songs not only on this record but also on the following record, Lightbringer. These 2 titles, the Dark Fighter and Lightbringer, are thematically just important with what the records are talking about, with what Jay's talking about, with what the theme or the concept loosely was when we looked at the collection.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like there's going to be quite a juxtaposition there.
I mean, there is a juxtaposition. It's not like one record is black and the other one is white or anything like that. We still sound like us, and there's light and shade on both records. But regarding the title of Dark Fighter, it's very much in reference to the time that we made the record, and where it just seemed like there was a cloud, a fog over everybody, a divisive, very dividing kind of darkness.
Yeah, and you get that from the album, definitely, those feelings.
Yeah, and it's not like we want to indulge in that, or be too obvious.
No.
It's like everyone's going to come out of the pandemic and write songs about the pandemic. Yeah. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
It's a feeling.
It was more about, it didn't really have to do with just like COVID or anything. Like in the States, and I know there's a whole other set of issues for everybody all over the world, but we're living in the United States, and we had this super crazy social, emotional, social, political thing happening, racial. We had George Floyd. We had a very strange president.
Yeah, wasn't going to bring it up.
It was really strange and really far out, and how that divided people, and it just like every single thing. That was really the starting point. This president, like people either worshipped him like he was Christ, or absolutely loathed him like he was, and there was just a lot of weird stuff that was going on, and it was dark and it felt bad. It's like when we have like racial stuff, it just feels horrible.
It is.
Kids are getting pulled out of school. People aren't working, so we're having this economic just beat down. So you have Dark Fighter. There's the feeling we had that we feel that I'm going to speak for myself here. I feel that people are intrinsically good, and that out of this, people need to fight this cloud and this overwhelming negativity and divisiveness that's happening to our country and to our world. So we're not trying to be prophetic, but we're trying to make art that reflects the time. We want to be a mirror, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
To some degree.
Definitely.
So you have Dark Fighter.
I love that. Great answer. Rival Sons, your band has toured extensively around the world. What, from your point of view, are some of the most interesting or maybe unexpected experience you've had whilst on tour? Either as a group or from your own experience personally.
Sure. Interesting. That's a deep question. I'd have to give it a lot of thought. I'll try to come up with something. My experience has been varied because I spent a matter of years intoxicating on the road.
Yeah.
The beginning of the touring was sober for me,
Yeah.
and then a big chunk of it was where I drank and intoxicated and stuff. And then in the last 4 or 5 years, I've been sober, and that's different too. Like that kind of touring. So my personal experience, touring it without intoxicating recently is what I'll speak on. I was just talking about it a minute ago with some friends, and that is how clear it is about what's happening with the audiences and with what we're doing with the audience and what they're doing with us, and this exchange that we're having, and that it's much more than what you would think it is, and you realize that when you're playing with larger groups, you start to feel like this is a connectivity that we're all having.
Shared experience.
It's a shared experience. It's really important to all of us. And I think a lot of people think that the band is up there being worshipped, and that's how we feel, that we're important, and that you are cheering for us. So we feel very self-important, like it's about us. But and that's how people would feel. I wouldn't fault somebody for that, but I don't really. That's not how I feel. We play this role, but the truth is, I feel like the audience is very important to me, and that we're playing our part, and my part is to be this guy and do this, play this is what I can do, deliver this show to you, and you deliver a show to me with this undying support and like cooperation. Anyway, you get what I'm saying.
Oh, I do.
So this realization has been really important to me, and I felt this before I was sober with the band, and that's kind of something that drove me to become clear and more sober and do the shows like that. It's a rare opportunity for me, and I'm not saying anyone has to come to my show and be sober, but for me, there's maybe 10,000 people out here, or 3,000 people out here, 500, and there's only 4 or 5 on stage, 5 for us. In the art thing, I think I need to be like really clear. I need to do that so I can be there to give and to receive.
Definitely.
So this is, without telling you a rock and roll debauchery story, I'm going to go the other direction and say this has been a realization, and it's leaked into how I want to make music and how we present our new records and stuff. So Dark Fighter and Lightbringer, these records are indicative of that feeling, like just wanting to deliver something as pure as we can, as focused as we can, and it was like also still loose and fun. It's not, doesn't mean that it's all heavy and it's all weighting you down. Some of it is still completely dirty and improvised rock and roll, but there's an intent behind it that is genuine.
I love that. Like, I'm a freelance photographer, I photograph gigs. And there's something so special about that shared connection.
Sure.
Live music is such a magical experience for so many people.
Oh, and great photographers.
Takes the weight of the world off of your shoulders.
It's real.
And capturing that is beautiful. It's such
real.
a special thing.
And you know what they say? The musician's best friend is a great photographer. Because it's cool, because we're so in it. It's kind of amazing to see it brought back. And I mean, like for me as a musician growing up, a kid growing up, just
You see the photos.
that's what turns you on.
It's like you understand what that felt like, almost.
For most people, that's where the magic starts. Like, oh, that looks
that.
amazing.
I hope that my photos give people that. For sure. So how do you as a band approach the process of songwriting? What roles do each of you play in creating?
Generally, with this band, B and J will start songs, and that doesn't really have a rhyme or a reason. If I have ideas, I record them and get them all set up for him, and then send something to him, even if it's just a note on my phone that I play to, here, take this, or if it's something I record in my studio and send to him, and then he'll do the same thing, whatever he has recorded, if it's like a verse, or an intro and a verse, or a couple verses, or a chorus. We just trade back and forth. That's what we do. We figure out what the song needs, what each other gave. A lot of times, especially from Jay's side, he'll give me something because he's a singer, he's a writer, and he's a great writer musically.
Yeah.
It'll look pretty done to me, and I am not so in my own way or the band's way or his way that I need to like, oh well, let me do my thing.
Yeah.
It's not like that. Sometimes my thing is very much to get out of the way. If there's a very small thing I can add to it, you know, the quiet is as important as the sound, and the support is at least as important as the carrying something. And it's something I've learned in this group. So, like with the, did you hear the whole record? Like on a track like Dark Side that finishes the record, he had that song and he sent it just acoustically to me, and he had all those verses, which it's like that's pretty much the whole thing. Those verses are the song, you know, so it's that theme. I really didn't think it needed much, you know.
It's such a great closer.
Thanks. So I wrote the riff.
Yeah.
I think it needed, that's what I heard, you know, it needed this power to it that was like a real light and shade, like a hitting the gas and then allowing it to funnel out.
That ebb and flow of it.
Yeah, and then the big bridge, so we can crescendo, and we wrote a lot of that bridge together in the studio. That, you know, for us too, it doesn't just end with me and Jay, of course. My band is talented, they all write. We work with our producer and write. Sometimes when we're in the studio, we're working on something and our producer isn't feeling it at all, and Dave Cobb will just say, let's work in a different direction, present something, he'll go, it's great, let's do that. He'll get a guitar and go, how about this thing next? And we'll go, that's killer. And we'll just pass the hat around really quick and hit the floor and record it in moments, you know? So that's fun. It's a way that a lot of artists don't work. We're confident enough to work like that. And if, again, we can get out of our own way and not get too stuck, then we can get work done like that. And generally, with anything me and Jay write, there's a little bit of interpretation left for our guys to really be themselves in there. Sometimes there's parts, you know. This record was particular though because I had Miley sending me drums too. So if I have a riff, more than I need to start with Jay, sometimes I have a riff and I tell Miley, and I'm like, here's what I'm thinking, I'll beatbox it, or I'll tap something out to him and go, it's like I need something that's gonna be sticky. Can you give me something sticky like that? And he'll go.
When people describe music like that, like sticky.
Yeah, he'll send me something, and then I'll be able to chop it up and get it into my studio and like write to it, and then I'll have it. That's the sound. Like if you think of like Mirrors, the opening track, that main riff. It was like I needed the drum and the guitar is like, you know, a lot of things with my riff. They're not a busy riff, but they'll have a certain movement that the drum is mandatory. So me and Miley are at least working together on those.
I love that. And then this isn't on my list. I'm just very curious. When you are writing, I mean, you must write so much and condense it down, or maybe not. But where does then you have a finished song? Where does the title come into that? Or do you start with the title sometimes and then go from there?
I title all my stuff working titles, but that's not usually what sticks. It's Jay writes a song. After Jay writes a song, there's a chorus, there's verses. He's a wordsmith.
There's always something.
There's words there. I mean, generally he'll title the song. It's either that or I'll hear a title in it and suggest it to him. And not unusually will he come up with something heady or wordy, and I'll come up with something much more straight to the point.
I think, you know, titles have such power.
I agree.
People see a title and it could like make or break their decision to listen to the song.
Yeah. I mean, in general, Jay will title because he's writing the song.
Yeah.
It's like titling a poem. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So every so often, I'll hear his title and go, this is the lyric that sticks with me.
Yeah.
Even though you're calling it that, this isn't. Every so often we'll go with that too, but mostly he titles it.
Brilliant. And then, so rival songs have been compared to classic acts and legends like Led Zeppelin and Rolling Stones. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about those comparisons? Because they're big names, they've got weight to them. How do you see yourself as part of that, larger rock tradition?
I guess in some way, sure. I mean, I understand comparisons. Those are people that influence us deeply, and we've worn influences on our sleeve on purpose.
Yeah.
Like any kind of artist, you know what I mean? Like maybe you're taking pictures and you're doing nature photography, and you develop it super high contrast black and white, and you're like, this is my Ansel Adams.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or like whatever.
Definitely.
So we all do this, and it's fun, and I think it's respectful.
Yeah.
It can only be weird when people just aren't kind of owning it. I guess some people might not even know, but pretty much always we know. And I think it's like a tip of a hat.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's like sneak in a little Animals bridge, or let's sneak a little like Aftermath kind of sounding Stones like section in here, because it's fun, like how the percussion sounds or how the drums are doing, or we'll reference songs. So being referenced that we sound like our heroes is like, we've used their influence. They've influenced my life and my music. Certainly, my hope is that people are hearing us inside of all those influences.
Definitely.
And just like with any art, we start out emulating, and we start emulating less and less.
Yes.
And pretty soon you have a collection that you're emulating just the purest parts of your collection. And pretty soon you're not referencing really other artists as much, or your influences, and you start thinking about photography like aperture and light and context, and you start to have an artistic point of view rather than I'm just kind of shooting like so and so and so and so. Music is the same way, that like we're at the point where on this record, on Dark Fighter, I was in Lightbringer, I was more referencing musical movement, guitar ideas that were more based in like color and texture and like feelings for me, my own kind of things that I came up with, my own the effects that are brand new that nobody ever used, guitars that I had built, tunings that I'm using fluently that aren't based on things that other people are doing, and that's cool and that's fun, to where I can hear my record back. And I still hear our influences on this one too, but I think more, even when the influence is there, you go, but really? That sounds like Rival Sons.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
It's even if I hear an influence, it sounds like Rival Sons kind of doing that. You know, like when you hear Pearl Jam cover the Stones. It doesn't sound like the Stones.
No, of course it doesn't.
That sounds like Pearl Jam covering the Stones. So you don't want to sound too much like your heroes.
No, definitely. And also I think it's, being compared or hearing those nuances that maybe we've heard before. It's just, like for me anyway, it's a sense of admiration for those past people that have, like you said, influenced you. Of course. There are going to be parts of that in your music, but you are your own sound, and that's what makes it great.
Sure.
And the last question, we have a couple of questions from some fans. My last question is, what can fans expect from Rival Sons in the future? Are there any upcoming projects or collaborations that you may be particularly excited about?
We're really focused right now on not only releasing Dark Fighter, but releasing a second record in Lightbringer in the autumn. So this is a big thing for us. It's a big project, and it's gonna shoot us out way beyond the normal album cycle. It's practically gonna be a double album cycle. But we're packed with tour dates. We're super focused and excited about playing the songs live because of the way we record quickly and don't spend too much time ironing them out albums, and figuring out every nuance of the song. We find what's pure in the song and what we love, and we record it, we capture it really quickly and put it down. And try to crystallize that. Nowadays people will spend forever making music. Like they're building the foundation, then the structure, then they're putting up drywall, then they're like putting in the electric, and then they're doing it.
Yeah.
Making music for us is closer to throwing a net over a wild animal. Once that we have the song and we've done the work at home, I want to get in the studio and it's like something running around crazy. Get it.
Yeah.
And we got it, and it's untamed, and it's feral in that way. It's spontaneous.
Yeah.
So when we play them live, they take on a new life, and they start to get ironed out in a very symbiotic way. Let's use that word again with the audience, because we're now discovering how you love the song. And how we love it together, and how we love it with you, and how it exchanges and makes everybody feel we all did it together. And that makes the song special.
Definitely.
There's something that maybe we wouldn't have even known, like a section of a song where the audience really reacts, and we're thinking, oh, you'll see us go, okay, that you like that. We're going to make sure we give that to you again, because that's fun.
Yeah,
So,
I can imagine playing live, especially material that you haven't played for an audience before. Brings a new depth to it.
absolutely. A new depth, a new angle, and a new way we want to present it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Wow, I love that. Okay, so a couple of fan questions and then we'll be done.
Okay.
Alan McLaren would like to know, do you, Scott, like switching out your guitars like Rick Nielsen does for cheap tricks?
Why would you ask that? Would it be because I take 13 guitars on the road with me?
I always love seeing the guitars lined up at the side of the stage.
I know, I remember Alan. Alan McLaren is a friend of the band from Canada, from Winnipeg, I believe.
I have 4 questions for you.
Yeah, okay. Probably good ones, too. He's a real music head.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. Thank you, Alan. Yes, not so much like a Rick Nielsen, who's also amazing, but I really dig Cheap Trick. But the best reference for me is I remember going to a Tom Petty show.
Wow.
My dad, 12th row or something, and they did that. And it was constantly these great guitars that came out all night. And I remember looking at him and saying, Dad, I'm gonna do this one day.
I love that.
And I probably had 2 guitars at the time. And I said, someday I'm gonna do this because that is so fun for me. It's like total guitar porn. I don't even use that word, but it's total, you know what I mean? It's just total guitar extravaganza.
Yes.
And it was part of the show for me.
How old are you?
I was probably a late teenager, doing bands already. I just didn't have money or a lot of instruments. But also I use a lot of tunings. I use different tunings. I want to keep things in tune and not think about it at all. I'll also keep a guitar on for 4 songs or 3 songs, whatever, like that. But I do like the whole thing about it being a big part of the show.
It's always interesting to see what they're going to go for there.
Yeah, it's become interesting because I had to bring out a double neck for Feral Roots, but not 1, but 2, because I had a double neck thing that I did in a different tuning. So there's not a lot of options to buy double necks. It's not like I want to get the same model over and over again. It's just weird. So I had this old 1976 EDS 1275 Gibson, the Jimmy Page one, but it's brown, and it's the greatest thing ever. I love the guitar, and I use that on All Directions and Look Away for Feral Roots. But then the song Feral Roots was also a 12-string, 6-string thing in a whole different tuning. So I ended up having to have my good friend Doug Cower build me a one-of-a-kind double neck, which I use now today. I call it Sirius Black. It's a big black guitar. I love it. It's amazing. It never has an instrument feel so personal and built for me.
That's special.
Super special. like just like breathtaking for like a guitar nerd and somebody who loves guitar so much, and a guy who I have a really Doug Howard, I have a great relationship with, just to get this instrument. Oh my God. So I've actually done new things for this album as well. I've built guitars, and I've been working with my good friend Matt Hughes from Banker Custom Guitars, and I have a few special guitars.
That's amazing. How do you think you'd feel about like seeing yourself now as that late teenager watching Songwriting?
I'd like to think that I would love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It feels weird and kind of
having custom guitars.
egotistical to say I would love me.
No, I love that.
But I guess if I'm loving me, I would. It's
Yeah.
not that egotistical.
No.
I would love what I'm doing. I've had the chance to not only get a lot of guitars, but make a lot of guitars. A lot of builders have come to me where I get to collaborate. Yeah. So it's a dream. It's a dream before I had to come up with this dream.
Yeah.
But the young me would be like, you were awesome that you even came up with that dream, dude. Good job for us.
Well done, me.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mark McGrath would like to know, are there any plans in the future for a filmed concert for people to stream or maybe buy?
We're always thinking about it. We did film Catalina, two nights in Catalina that we did over the pandemic. These were special in particular. Yes. We did Before the Fire in the casino, and it's live and awesome. And then we did the EP in the theater the next night, and they're both killer. We mixed them, but they're all live. They've been kind of produced, so I think we're gonna put those out.
Amazing.
And then for a proper one, as a proper one, we talk about it all the time. It's just a matter of getting the right footage, the right show.
A lot of logistics going into that.
I remember because Neil Young said something years ago. He has, of course, Rust Never Sleeps, or Rust Live. He has these records, and he was asked about live records and said it's really, really hard to find that perfect moment.
Yeah.
Like, you do so many shows and you do so many performances of the songs, it's hard to decide which one you want to crystallize and have people live with forever. There is something out there too. I maybe we can find it. I don't know if you can find it, but it used to be on Palladia.
Right.
And it was a thing when Robin was in the band from I think around the Head Down era, and it was a full concert filmed in Gothenburg, Sweden.
Amazing.
It's killer. It's a great video. It sounds great and it looks really good. So maybe you can go find that. But we are thinking.
Right, and then one last one. We'll go back to good old Alan. Would Scott and Dave ever trade instruments where Scott plays bass and Dave plays guitar, just to see what it would be like?
No, we probably won't. But I think we're far better on the instruments we're on. Both of us, when we're recording, he plays guitar, I play bass. Yes. But when it comes down to it, I really want him to play bass on everything. And I would hope vice versa, but probably not. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, cool.
I really appreciate you sitting down with me today. New album, Darkfighter, June 2nd.
We do. Darkfighter's out June 2nd,
Amazing.
and then Lightbringer sometime in the autumn.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay,
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.